What's up, guys? Johan Bester here. Thank you so much for clicking on the video and visiting our channel. Please consider to subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And if you enjoy this content, why don't you share it with somebody else who you think might also enjoy it? So, I've had so many suggestions from you guys to check out Angelina Jordan. So many people sent me messages saying, have you ever seen this singer? Do you know about her? And telling me her whole story. And the truth is, I actually have been aware of who she is for a number of years. I have listened and watched many of her auditions and her stuff and listened to her a bunch. And I don't know, I've been a little bit hesitant to do a reaction on her because the way that she sings, now calm down, let me do my whole story before you judge me. The way that she uses her voice, I'm not a huge fan of generally, especially the stuff that I saw of her when she was younger. I mean, she's still very young, but I thought it's a bit unnatural. Yes, it's individualistic. It's a very unique voice, the sound, right, that she makes. But I wasn't loving the way she used her voice, and I didn't want to go and seem critical of her. But so many of you requested. Like I said, there are clearly many Angelina Jordan fans in the world, and for good reason. So here's what I decided to do. Today, I'm going to check out 3 different clips of her. The first is her her audition on Norway's Got Talent, I think, yeah. She is, of course, from Norway. And then the second one was her audition, I think, 2 years ago. 2021 or 22, I can't remember, on America's Got Talent, then 13, almost 14 years old. In the first one, she was 7. And then the last clip I'm going to check out today is of one of her latest singles, the music video or the visualizer. So it'll be interesting, I thought, to talk about what did I see and hear when she was 7 and she just burst onto the scene. And then, 6, 7 years later, and then another year or 2 later, how has she matured? Not only as a human, because obviously she's growing, but how she speaks, how she carries herself, and also, and very specifically, how she started to use her voice slightly differently over the years. So, without further ado, we're going to begin with checking out Angelina singing on Norway's Got Talent, her audition. Never mind. Let me plug in my cable.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I have watched it. I watched it yesterday just to decide what to do. What is so evident to me, especially as someone who has been working with voices for over 30 years, but a lot of kids, a lot of young people's voices. She's got a very distinctive sound and a very distinctive way about her. Barefoot, and did you see her foot goes like this all the time? And the way she moves her body and her head, and even the hand that holds the mic, everything's moving, and it seems very natural. She doesn't look like somebody coached her, you know what I mean, to do these kinds of moves or whatever. So it's very cute, it's very sort of endearing, but I think it's very authentic. So I like that about her, and I have from the start. This is super low for a 7-year-old. Ba, 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 bum. It's in G minor. So she sings between this G and G, around middle C mainly. That's very low for a 7-year-old. But I have seen a few singers in my life who at that age just naturally can sing in that range because of the physiology. She's got a darker voice. She's always had a darker voice. So that's interesting. Now, the whole thing about what I said in the intro about how I don't love the way she uses her voice. What I'm talking about is the breathiness, which I think we'll see later on she uses more selectively and more deliberately, whereas there maybe that's just the way it came out, for her as a 7-year-old. But also the shaping of the vowels. She changes the shape of her mouth, and obviously you can't see it, but moving her tongue position a lot. So that's vowel manipulation to create a specific artistic effect, right? But, and this is my point, if the way you manipulate your vowels because you're after a specific artistic effect, if that affects the enunciation so much that me, the listener, cannot hear what you say, then I've got a problem with it. So at this stage, I'm sort of struggling to hear everything she says. It's now the second time, like I said, that I'm listening to it, and I still can't follow all of what she's saying. So this is a channel where we analyze singers. So that is my take on that so far. So let's finish off this one. Yeah, I love seeing the reactions of the judges always in these kinds of setups, and also the audience. So clearly there was a beautiful moment. People there are clearly touched by it. I think the innocence, the rawness of what they saw and what you and I just saw is really beautiful. And I must say, after I talked about her manipulating her vowels so that I can't hear what she says, I actually could hear her better in this last part of the song, could hear what she said. And because of the way she sings, also the other thing she does, of course, is a vibrato. She puts a little vibrato on so many ends of phrases, which is not, it's neither a good or a bad thing. It's just like what I always say about vibrato is you have to be able to choose and control it. Otherwise, it becomes a thing that just happens all the time. If it happens all the time, it takes away the effect that it has. So she has a lot of sort of a big vibrato, especially for a 7-year-old. But it's part of her sort of signature sound, right? It seems very raw and very authentic, like I said. But sometimes in the vibrato, the pitch is a little bit not so secure. But then I heard many places during this performance that indicate she really knows exactly what the pitch is. And when she wants to sing a more straight note, then you can hear it solidly in the pitch. So, yeah, I can absolutely understand why this made people go, oh my gosh, what is this? And also, hello, a 7-year-old singing jazz like that. That's very, very rare. 7-year-olds don't gravitate towards jazz, in case you haven't noticed. So that's also been a thing that was authentic about her right from the start. She loved that expression. Now, of course, the theme in a song like that is really a mature theme. It's really should be sung by somebody who have lived a little bit. Somebody who's been in love affairs, kind of thing. So in that sense, doesn't make a lot of sense for a little girl to sing it. But the fact that the style of the music resonates so much with her, that's very, very obvious and also very real and connected for me. And then the next video, like I said, we're going to take a look at is her singing in America's Got Talent. I honestly can't remember when it was. Wait. January 6, 2020. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy day in America. But anyway, let's not go there. Let's hear her sing now, 13, almost 14. She says she's 13 on stage, but her birthday is in January, so she was close to 14. Way longer legs now. She's really grown. She seemed to have started growing early. I'm going into adolescence quite young, because she seems like bodily, she seems much more mature than 13, 14-year-old. So let's hear her sing. When I saw this the first time, this was maybe then in 2020, I thought, wow, Bohemian Rhapsody. I always think, why do people choose Bohemian Rhapsody? Because it's such a difficult song, and Bohemian Rhapsody actually only really sort of kind of works if you have all the layers that they have in the original track, all the vocal layers, all the instrumentation. So it's very risky, I think, for a singer to choose that to sing by themselves. But I was impressed then with what she did with it. So let's check that out and talk about the progression.
Anywhere the wind blows doesn't really matter to me.
Very breathy.
Wow. Too late. My time
Vibrato.
Send shivers down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth.
Wow.
Sometimes I wish I'd never been born at all. Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out of here. Nothing really matters. Anyone can say nothing really matters. Nothing.
Yeah, so I love the shots of audience members who just, I can't believe what they're saying. Yeah, there's some real artistry, right? Which is why I think people love her. She really makes Bohemian Rhapsody sound different without making it not Bohemian Rhapsody, if that makes sense. Which is the goal of a singer. If we're going to cover somebody else's song, we don't want it to sound exactly like a copy of the original or of the main version that everybody knows and loves. We want to do it in a way that makes it real, makes it connected to us. And she obviously has incredible skill to do that. Such control of her voice. I mean, she went to the high E flat. This is in B flat major. And she sang it quite full and connected. Not at all like a general sort of pop belty song. Not at all. But a full sound. In other words, there's a lot of breath flowing. Still a little bit husky. Tiny bit, so slightly disconnected, but very intentional. The kind of sound that she chose to make, and she had absolute control of it. And she starts, matters to me, that low F, which again, as we mentioned earlier, she has a dark voice, so her voice is naturally inclined to be more comfortable in those lower pitches. But everything in this performance was totally under her control. Still a lot of distinctive and specific vowel shaping happening, lots of vibratos, lots of little runs, right? Possibly for my taste a little bit too much here and there, but a few of those very creative runs were so effective. What makes it effective? The emotional reaction of the listener. So when I feel something, when somebody does a vibrato or a vowel modification or changing the melody or doing little runs and riffs, when it makes me feel the music or the moment even more, if it makes it stronger, then it's effective and it's valid and it's a good idea. So again, barefoot, looks like that's a theme. Still just as much hair. I'm sort of annoyed because I don't have a lot of hair, so people with a lot of hair annoy me. No, not really. But she has so much hair. But that big hairdo of hers is obviously also part of her performance persona. Makes her look very distinctive. Not her look, you know what I mean? The way she looks, the look and feel, the way she presents herself. So yeah, I thought that was a brave thing to do on America's Got Talent, but clearly it paid off, and I know she went on to go quite deep in that competition. She didn't win, but I think that gave her a lot of exposure. That's why people go to these kinds of shows. It shows the world who you are, which is incredible. Some musicians, I have many musician friends who hate these kinds of shows because they say this is not real, this is not the real journey that an artist should have. But then, hey, maybe when we grew up in the 80s or the 70s, we didn't have these kinds of shows, so our journey was different. Now these shows exist. So if I was a young upcoming performer, I would go on these shows, The Voice or Idols or a Got Talent show, and show the world who I am. So anyway, so I think that was beautifully done. I could actually hear everything she said. Maybe the fact that I know the song very well played a part in that, but still, I think her vowel modification didn't affect her pronunciation as much as it did in the first clip. And then finally, we're going to look at a recent release of hers called Love Don't Let Me Go. It's a visualizer, so it's not a full-on music video, but it has footage of her. So let's check that out. This is recent, like 3 or 5 months old. So this is 2023. But this obviously is studio recording, right? The first 2 clips that we saw were live in a televised show. This is not live, so that means that you can't really compare the vocal. If somebody goes into the studio, then they will go at it until they have exactly what they want for every phrase, every part of the recording before they release it. So just important to keep that in mind. Big hair, yeah.
Mistakes and regrets ain't all that I have left. 'Cause your touch and your sense still on my skin. Maybe I'm a fool to erase the trace of you. 'Cause no, you know me, at least that's how I feel. I'm trying to pull you closer to me, but it's just like trying to catch smoke. Love, I really wish you had a face. Maybe I could beg for you to stay. I'm on the floor, I'm begging, oh, love, don't let me go. If only I could look you in the eye, there wouldn't be no place for you to hide. I'm on the floor, I'm begging, oh, love, don't let me go. If you had a heart, I could make it beat for me. If you had a soul, I know where my home would be. It's not about feeling lonely, but man, I just can't forget. And though you're not here beside me, I still see your silhouette. I'm trying to pull you closer to me, but it's just like trying to catch smoke. Love, I really wish you had a face. Maybe I could beg for you to stay. I'm on the floor, I'm begging, oh, love, don't let me go. If only I could look you in the eye, there wouldn't be no place for you to hide. I'm on the floor, I'm begging, oh, love, don't let me go. I'm on the floor, I'm begging, oh, love, don't let me go.
Nice. Yeah, so clearly she's evolved into an artist that has a very specific sound and style. I'm pretty sure, I didn't research it, but I'm pretty sure she writes her own stuff. She obviously has done a lot of covers in her young career, but she writes her own songs, maybe co-writing with other people. But I think she was definitely involved in writing the song. If it was just her, whether it was just her or with others, because there's a jazziness in it, but there's also a pop sensibility about the melodies and the structure of the song. I love that the chorus is double. It's not a double chorus, it's a chorus that's in two parts. I love that because I think the chorus is by far, from a songwriting point of view, is by far the strongest part of the song. Da 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 da, something like that. Very earwormy. very good writing in that sense. Lyrically, I think it's okay. It's better for me in places and worse in places in terms of the songwriting. But 2023, if she was 7 in 2014, then she's about 20. My maths, I can't count. I think so. So she looks mature. She looks like an adult. And everything about how she does what she does seems, I know it's a music video type thing, so obviously it's staged, but she seems definitely even more mature in the way she does everything, including the way she sings and everything, than on the America's Got Talent stage, which was, like 3 years ago. So there's been a beautiful evolution, beautiful growth. I could actually hear 99% of the words she sang in the song, could hear it really clearly. If you've listened to me more than 2 times, you will know that I always go on about energizing the consonants. Because if the consonants in your words do not get breath, that's how we energize our sound, with breath, then you can't hear what people say. So what she did really well here, and I could clearly tell that it's consistent, is she energizes the beginning consonants of words, especially in the beginnings of phrases, but generally. So that's why you know what the word is. Some ends of words I didn't quite hear when there's a consonant at the end of a phrase, and she chooses to go, let's say the word is fall, and she goes fall, fall, with that vibrato that she does, and she doesn't actually sing the whole at the end of the word fall, whatever. But it didn't bother me because I was still able to follow the story of the song upon a first hearing. So that's really beautiful. Yeah, I'm a bigger fan now than I was before, because she's sticking to her guns. She's saying, look, this is who I am. This is my sound. This is my look. I'm going to try and write songs that has that jazziness that resonates with my inner being. But I'm going to combine it with some funky contemporary sound, and some pop sensibilities. So it's appealing to an even wider audience, I think. And I really do wish her well. I hope she continues to stay balanced. Can be very hard for someone who got exposure from such a young age. Oh my gosh, it's a very tough industry to live in. And you are treated like an adult from a very early age if you live this kind of life. And sometimes it's not fair because you're not an adult. If you're 13 or 14, other musicians and songwriters might treat you like an equal, but you're not. You are young. You haven't lived. You haven't been through a lot of stuff. So I know I've been close to people who've had a journey like that, so I know firsthand how tough it is. So I hope she stays balanced. I hope she's got a great team around her. Hey, if you're a fan and you have some information about her and her team and her life, what it is like now, etc., I'd love it if you left a comment, because I will learn from that, and so will all the other people who read the comments. Thank you for spending the time with me, checking out Angelina Jordan. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. And until next time, please take care of yourself. Before you go, let me just quickly remind you of 2 exciting things that is part of our company. The one is a podcast on Spotify, free for everybody, called Voice Matters with Johan Bester. And the second is that we now have a Discord server, Charisma Performing Arts Discord server. I would love it if you would consider joining our community there. The links are in the description.